Some things are hope.
Islam, Islam.
Some things are hope. Some things are hope.
Amexem Almanac.
Islam, Islam, Islam. I spoke a month back about a manuscript that I could not find, so I went through the hard drives and I found it from 1770. And this is the story of a Moor and European. I ask that you are patient during this reading. For example, the S's are replaced with what looks like F's as very old writing, again 1770. Enjoy. In the reign of Haji Day, a Greek merchant who resided at Algiers used almost every year to make a voyage to Tunis or Egypt, reselling his cargo. A countryman of his dying left his executor and among other pious legacies a certain sum for charitable use. One day the merchant, passing by a Moor who was sitting on the street upon a piece of mat, lame and almost blind, asked charity of the merchant. He was the more inclined to give because of his industry in making thread laces, being incapable of other work. He dropped him his aspers, which usual sight so transported the Moor that he followed him on his crutches, calling out upon heaven to shower down its blessings upon him. How exceedingly helpful the Christian had been to him for the love of Allah, at which they were so pleased that they all joined in his commendation, saying that is an excellent person indeed. Indeed. His charity extends beyond his sect. The Moor did not leave following the benefactor till he discovered his house, and afterwards took post in a place where the merchant must daily pass by him. Next day the Moor begs his charity, and the Greek repeated it, which gained him great reputation and a crowd of customers. The Mohammedan priest did not fail to cry up the reward which Allah had given to his charitable Greek, who, finding the sweets of charity, which cost him nothing, continues his daily benevolence till the time of his departure for Egypt. The Moor still kept his post, but minding his benefactor, he made inquiry after him, and had the mortification to hear that he was out of the kingdom. When his clerk passed by, he used to lift up his hands and pray for his majesty's happy return, which happened 5 or 6 months after. The Moor was overjoyed to see him, and when the merchant in return for his compliments was going to bestow his charity on him, declined it, saying it was better to pay him all his arrears at once. The Greek told him he did not know what he meant by arrears, to which the Moor replied that he had been absent for 6 months, and consequently that there was about 80 rials due, mazunas. The Greek did not know whether the fellow's impatience deserved most to be laughed at or chastised, but the Moor laid his complaint before the Dey, and the Greek merchant was sent for to make his defense. The Moor alleged that the merchant had, for the continuance of a whole month, daily given him a rial, but the charity had greatly increased his customers and been a fund of riches, and that as to himself upon such a daily income, he was very glad to leave off working, which was very painful to him, having almost lost the fight, that the merchant went away without giving him the least notice that his pension was to cease, that he had still kept his post, praying to Allah for his return. Besides the relying on his accustomed liberality, he had contracted some debt for his support, that upon demanding his arrears, the merchant had laughed at him and threatened him. The Greek did not disown the truth of the premises, but insisted that the alms being a voluntary action, its continuance depended upon the will of the donor. After a decision of the affair in council, the merchant was condemned to pay the Moor a rial for every day since his departure to the day of this decision, with a price over and above as a compensation for his reproaches, but with empowering him to declare that every instant that it was his intention never to give him any alms or gratuity for the time to come. This the merchant many times protested, adding that such a penance would not soon be forgotten. I hope that you enjoyed the reading. I do all that I can within my will to assist the Moorish nation. I put out the European repatriation back to Europe. I ask that you share and share and share and support so that some Europeans can at least get back before they're forced to and they're stinking. And also that Moors, you can get your big grapes and your bananas and your harvest and everything back the way it was. I leave you in love and peace. Divine honors the Prophet Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish Divine and National Movement of the world.